Hey guys, it's Hannah and this is bookwormstalk, and today I'm going to tell you my July favorites. I went in July. Yep, that's the right order. Good job. Like always, I start off with books. It is One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have this on audiobook, and I mentioned this in my What's New in Romance and the Book World and everything. I have a whole series. I do it every single month now. But I started this one. I am like this far from finishing it. I really love the audiobook to this. I'm not sponsored by Audible to say that or anything. Like, I genuinely love who narrates this book. They do a really good job. I think her last name, or Julia Whalen, I think her last name is Whalen. Anyway, I think she does a great job. She also narrates one of Taylor's other books, which is Maybe in Another Life, and I also have that one on audiobook, which I haven't started quite yet. But I really do like this one. She describes grief in ways that, like, oh. And she talks to you, but not to you. She's like, how do I explain this? I'm sure I have a page mark somewhere. Where's my phone? You know, the only thing you can do is get in the passenger seat of your dad's car and allow him to take you back home and put you to bed. But then you feel yourself growing stronger in that bed, as if you're squeezing the tears out of you, wringing yourself dry of pain. You imagine yourself bleeding grief, as if water from your eyes is the pain itself. You imagine it leaving your body and being soaked up by the mattress. You wake up one morning feeling dry and completely empty, so empty that if someone knocked on you, you'd sound hollow. Hollow and empty are terrible ways to feel when you're used to feeling full of joy, but it's not so bad when you're used to feeling so full of pain. Hollow feels okay. Empty feels like a beginning, which is nice because for so long you have felt like you were at the end. You ask your parents for a new bed. You feel childish doing it, but you have no money because you have not pitched a story in a very long time, and you quit working at the blog. Your parents don't understand why you're asking, and you can't quite explain it to them. You just say, this one is tainted. But what you mean is that you feel like it absorbed your suffering. You know it sounds crazy, but you believe your pain is in the mattress and you don't want it to be absorbed back into your own body. Do you see what I mean? Like, oh, I want it to just all of the beautiful. It's sad and it's beautiful, and I love her writing style. I don't know if I'm in love with the plot so much, but like I find myself not even giving a flying fuck about the plot, like at all. I do not care. I read this for the writing. Brief summary, there's this couple, they're like madly in love, you kind of get their story, and her husband goes missing the day before their anniversary, and he's presumed dead. And you kind of go through this grieving process with her afterward, and then she starts to slowly kind of pick her life back up and put it together, and then they find out that he's not dead. This is not a spoiler, this is literally all on the back of the book. I feel so bad like saying something that seems like such a big plot twist, but that's like a major part of the book, and it happens pretty soon in the book too. And so a lot of the book is what happens after, but you also get bits from before, and like when they were first falling in love and when they met in high school. You meet her other love that when she moved on past everything, and you know him, and it's the struggle with her, which I normally hate. I normally hate that kind of thing. But I gave it a shot because, honestly, because it reminded me of Castaway a little bit, not even just that he was on an island. By the way, you don't get it from his perspective at all, so it's not like Castaway like that. But it reminded me of, like, in Castaway when he came back and she had moved on, and they have that moment in the driveway when it's raining, and he leaves because it's the right thing to do, even though she was the reason that he wanted to stay alive, because he wanted to come back to her. But it was kind of, this book felt like what it could have been if he said, no, I want to try for this. So that's, I think, what drew me to it, and I didn't really realize it until I was about halfway through. But I'm loving it so far. I love it for the writing. I love the writing so much that I have bought every single book that Taylor Jenkins Reid has written. Every single one. Bought them all. That's how much I love it. She just describes emotions so articulately and so well. And now I'm going to move on to a couple of tangible favorites. One is a super affordable one. They recently started stocking this brand at Target. They also have it at Ulta. It is Essence. This is an eyeshadow, and it is in the shade Snowflake, a white satin shadow. But I didn't get it just for the fact of it being a shadow, but I got it because, like, one, look at that. And it's not even powdery. It does have like a satin finish, and like, it can be really light if you want, but I wear it as a highlight. Look how intense that is. It's so beautiful. It reminded me a lot of Becca's Pearl without it being shimmery and like glittery in any way. This is like all sheen. It's beautiful, and this was like definitely under the $3 mark, and this is like my favorite thing like ever. I love it so much. Now going from cheap to real damn expensive, this brush. This is an Artiste brush. I have an entire review for it on my second channel, which is where I review makeup and I do vlogs and stuff like that. This was a $60 brush, I know, but you put your foundation on with it, it really just makes everything so fast and so easy, and when you use really light pressure, you don't get any brush strokes. There's a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to using it. You gotta use it like probably about a week, and then you really have the hang of it and you're just like done. But I can do my foundation in like a quarter of the time that it used to take me, and it actually looks really good when I'm done. I love it. I also really am loving the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I keep it in its box because it has this like felt packaging stuff, and I feel like it'll get really dirty really fast, so I'm going to keep it in the box for as long as I can. But it's this beautiful eyeshadow palette. It has lots of warm tones, but surprisingly enough, you can get really natural looks with this. The eyeshadows are really blendable. It does have a lot of kick up, but I just think it's so stunning. I wish it had one more color that was like a little bit lighter than this one, but like darker than this one, because there isn't like a mid-tone. It's just like this to that. But otherwise, I really love this. I'm trying to play around with the pinks some more. I'm more comfortable with the oranges and like that one, like the taupes and stuff. And my favorite color by far is, what is this one called? Bonfresco. It's this really beautiful like taupey purple shade. It really brings out the green in my eyes. Huh. So it's like the one that I just easily just like throw in the crease, done with it. I do want to touch on music. I kind of feel like a cheat for doing this because it's, oh sorry, I gotta adjust the brows. Because I just kind of started listening to it not that long ago, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I've started listening to Dado is how you say it, but I always call her Ditto. So this album, and then the other one's in my car. This one is White Flag, and what's the other one called? Here With Me, I think it's called. It's the theme song to the Roswell show, which that's another favorite. I started watching Roswell. I'll talk about that in a second, but I've been really liking Dado. I jam out at the beginning of the intro of Roswell every single time because I can't help but dance. I can't. And something I want to very slyly mention, but like I won't fully commit to talking to, is I started listening to Counting Crows. And like, I never really listened to Counting Crows back in the day, but I started listening and I can't stop. And I'm still listening to Kaleo. Okay, those are all my music things, but now I'm going to talk about my my TV shows because I didn't really watch the movies or TV shows, and I think I'm going to kind of stop doing the movie TV show favorites things. Maybe like do a roundup of like favorite movies I watched in the past like 3 months and just talk about my favorites. I think that might be more productive, just because I feel like I'm jabbering on about movies that I didn't really like, and I feel like no one wants to hear about that. I don't even like talking about it, so I don't know. I'm thinking about changing it up. School's going to start for me. I'm not going to have that kind of time on my hands anymore anyway, so let me know how you feel on that. I literally have one movie down. I watched Fire in the Sky. That's all I watched. Oh, I watched Gone Baby Gone. That's a lie. I really liked that. If you like True Detective, watch it. It doesn't have the same feel as True Detective, but I feel like if you liked it, you would like this. It's like a crime, drama, mystery type of thing, but like homegrown and very like personal. But TV shows is really what I want to talk about. Roswell, I've been freaking loving. It is about, it sounds so stupid. It was an old 90s show, I think early 2000s actually mostly, about these teenagers who happen to be aliens living in the town of Roswell. But it follows them and their story, and the first season is amazing, and I remembered so much of the first season, and I honestly think like that's all I must have seen back in the day. I don't think I saw anything else, because I'm almost through the second season. I'm gonna be real honest, I hate the second season like so much, but I love the characters and I want to see what happens. I kind of hope the third season's good, but like the second season sucks. But the first season, it's amazing. It's such a fun show. It's not like Monster of the Week in the first season. It's very like about the characters and their personal life and like that big major plot rather than like Monster of the Week. You know what I mean. Speaking of like Monster of the Week kind of things, The X-Files, oh my god, I want to cry. Okay, so I'm on to the 8th season, and you guys, if you're watching it, stop on the 7th season. Just read a summary of what happens in the 8th season. Don't watch it. Also skip the 9th season, then go to the 10th season. Maybe watch the finale of the 9th is what I heard. The 8th season, a character, I will not spoil you, but a character is just completely absent from the show. Totally absent, and they try to play it off. There's a reason that the actor actually left the show, and they tried to play it off in the storyline, and like I bit off on it at first, but then like they just stopped talking about it in the show, and I'm like, excuse me, this is a really big thing to, like, why aren't you talking about it? Why aren't you freaking out still? I'm freaking out still, and so I'm really mad about that. And then in the 9th season, fucking Chris Carter, he's the producer, writer, I think, decided, let's literally take our 2 main characters, Scully and Mulder, completely out of the show and try to replace them, essentially. I'm like, no. So I'm like 2 or 3, maybe not quite that little, like maybe like 4 or 5 episodes from finishing the 8th season. And I started slowing down because I realized that it's like the last of the old, because I'm not going to watch the 9th season. I'm going to watch the 10th, which is the new 2016, like they continued on thing. And then I'm going to watch the finale of the 9th, which is what the internet has told me to do. But so I kind of started to slow down, and that's why I started Roswell, because I wanted something to make me happy, because I was so depressed over the X-Files. Like, the 7th season, it ends in such a shit way, which is why I thought, okay, cool, you're continuing it on with the 8th, even though I don't like where the 8th is going. Like, at least you continued, but like, God, no. Makes me so mad. I still recommend the show. I still think it's amazing, but like, God, mentally prepare yourself. I wasn't mentally prepared. I thought, I have 2 more seasons. I'm just gonna keep watching and binging it, and I like did not relish it like I should have. But I think that it's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys later next time on Bookworms Talk.